Hey, welcome in. Episode 14, Don't Spill the Mixie podcast. Matt, how we doing tonight?
Not too bad, Big Red. It's a pleasure to be back with you. Episode 14. Have a really good one on the books, especially following up a good weekend of golf. And hopefully everybody enjoys it. And as always, Big Red, what do you got cooking in that cup tonight? Or what do you have actually left in there?
I got a little bit of ice cold H2O here. As I mentioned here in a little bit when everybody's listening, I'm heading out to Pittsburgh for the week this week, so hitting the hay as soon as we're done here, and didn't want to. It's Sunday night, didn't want to get going too crazy, and then 5 o'clock wake up call tomorrow. Gonna be early, so didn't really want to get after it. What do you got?
Yeah, and I hope you have safe travels. And I think you're heading out there with your pops, so should be good. Get some good time in there with him. So hopefully you have safe travels and enjoy that. I have about 4 ice cubes left and a little bit of drizzle of the old Captain and Coke Zero. So as always, cheers to you, my friend. It's always a pleasure being able to do this with you and catch up with you weekly and interview some cool guests and get to hear their stories. And cheers to episode 14.
Cheers to episode 14. Can't say that enough myself. Love doing this with you. That's why we both started this, because we love doing it together. We love having conversations together. So appreciate week in and week out jumping on and having fun. And you and I have learned a lot about ourselves, a lot about each other by doing this, and just the camaraderie we have from doing it. We get a lot of laughs. We can reflect on a whole bunch of fun experiences. We were texting about that the other day, about how much fun we've already had just with the 7 or 8 guests, or however many it's been now, that we've had come on the show with us and just have fun, talking with them and hearing their stories. And that's what kind of keeps us fueled and keeps us motivated. It is just the stories and hearing different people's experiences, and we kind of try to live vicariously through them. So hearing what they've got going on, what some of the fun stuff that they've done. Today we talk a little bit about some of the challenges that our guest had on. So everybody's going to hear from Matt Harmon here in a little bit. He's a coworker of Matt and I's. He is a former professional golfer, so he had quite a few years on what was then the Web.com tour, what's now the Korn Ferry Tour. So him and I have talked about that quite a bit in the office previously. So I told him a while back that we wanted to have him on the podcast and hear some of his story.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, great episode. Hope you all enjoy it, and just echo what Mark had to say. And again, as always, the listeners that continue to give us a listen every week and share and support us as we continue down this journey, very much appreciate it. I think we hear from a couple more people each week asking, it's Wednesday, got an updated episode Tuesday, and asking where we're at. So appreciate you all again and sharing it out. Just something fun that we started, and hopefully we can turn it into something. And like I tell everybody, I think after every episode, listening back to it, watching the video, kind of seeing how we're doing, and listening to the car on the way to volleyball, and just kind of critiquing myself as far as how many times did I say or how many times did I repeat myself, and that kind of stuff. So it's been very good, and it's been a very big blessing to be able to do this weekly, and we just appreciate you all for listening.
Absolutely. Couldn't say it better. So I won't say it better. So with that, let's get in, and here's Matt Harmon.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, and we are back. And we got a new guest on. We'd like to welcome Matt Harmon to the show. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
So, no free ads to our 30 or so, however many listeners here. But Matt's a coworker of ours. We won't throw our work into this, but Matt's a coworker of Matt Veneman and I's. And Matt's got a pretty interesting golf journey that we want to talk about, that we want to get into. First and foremost, tradition here. I don't know, Harmon, I don't know if you have any beverage sitting next to you, but our tradition here is real quick, what do we got in the cup tonight? So, Veneman, what do we got in the cup tonight?
Switched it back to Coke Zero this week. So Coke Zero and Captain. So keeping the Captain theme for the last 3 episodes. So and switched back from Pepsi Zero to Coke Zero Star Wars. What about you, Big Red?
Ooh, I have just some extremely untamed H2O and ice because I got to get up real early and head to Pittsburgh tomorrow. So
Oh, nice.
uh, we'll be shutting it down. I didn't wanna get too crazy on a Sunday night, so we'll be shutting it down. Harmon, you got anything near you?
Oh yeah, I got a liquid IV mix.
There we
Just trying
go.
to recover from the
Hydrating after the
weekend.
baseball tournament
Yeah,
today.
keep those electrolytes flowing.
Baseball, social life, it's all going.
There we
We're
go.
full steam
All
right
right.
now.
All right,
Cheers to episode 14.
episode 14. Cheers. Looking
Love
forward
it.
to it.
All right. So, Matt Harmon, I've been bugging you for a couple weeks now to come on the show because I wanted to talk about your extensive golf journey. Um, you started taking golf pretty seriously when you were a youngster. At least that's my understanding. Let's start there, and then we'll kind of unfold the rest of it as it goes. And I think people will get more and more intrigued as we go along here. But first and foremost, when did you first get into golf? When did you first start playing golf?
Yeah, so I started. You're gonna see my kids run around. By the way, I have 4 boys. They'll all probably pop in and try to check something out. It's just there's
If they
no
make a
privacy
cameo,
around
they
that.
make a cameo.
Yeah. One of them's crawling right now, so he doesn't get on. But anyways, no, I was about their age. I mean, I had 2 sisters. My dad's the only boy, so he got hooked after college. I was probably 2. He'd just give my mom a break. He'd take me to the golf course. So I always had a club in my hand growing up. Once I was about 3rd grade, or not 3rd grade, sorry, 3, 4 years old, and I would just go play. He'd say hit a ball, and then pick it up by the time I'm done, and then by the time I was about 5 or 6, I could play maybe from the 100-yard marker and score all the way to the hole till he was done, and just kind of kept going and going from there.
And you're kind of doing the same thing with your boys now too, aren't you?
I do. We play a lot.
So,
We play team sports. Team sports are way better for younger kids. I don't like individual sports so much. At a young age, just kind of isolates them. They don't learn teamwork. They don't learn the bigger picture on a lot of things. So, but they all swing a club. I mean, we're heavy into baseball, basketball, football. We've done some soccer and flag football, but just keeping them active, playing as many as we can. And I told them, like, hey, you start, if you're obviously better than the rest of the kids on the field or something like that, maybe we'll take you up a level and see if we can find like a travel team or a better travel team or something like that. But it's more just learning the games, building friendships, building relationships, and not letting it run your entire life, but it's getting close. It's getting close. Sports are taking over.
especially with 4, I can only imagine. Holy smokes!
Yeah.
Trying to run them all to all the different practices and everything else. It's just that's a full-time job in and of itself anymore. At what point did golf become something more serious to you?
Uh, I was always like playing. I was good in junior tournaments. I think I won like a 10 under championship when I was 10 years old, a state championship or whatever. They used to run some more local tournaments. I'd win a lot of those. So, but I still played team sports at that point too. Basketball. I mean, I was one of those big kids. I always like grew more than everybody earlier. So we thought maybe basketball would be the thing or baseball. Even when I was, getting pretty good at golf. So we would, we played, I think it was maybe somewhere between 6th and 7th grade. I made a travel baseball team and I had a golf schedule, and my dad like held it up, said, you got to pick one. Can't do them both. Like, this is getting to be too much. So we took it down, and that's like, we went for golf at that point. So that's when I stopped playing soccer. I stopped playing baseball, and I stopped playing football all the same year. Just stuck with golf and basketball. But
Was it at that point? How much different is it, like in comparison to what you see with your kids now? Like, were you playing golf year round, or I mean, obviously being from Michigan, um, probably only summer, spring, fall to whatever degree weather cooperated, I would imagine.
Yeah, we used to have Dome World down there, where the outlet malls are on the 84th and the highway.
Oh
That used
yeah.
to be a big that used to be a big golf. You play softball and golf in there all winter long. So we'd go hit range balls like once or twice a winter. But no, it's like we got away, played other sports, did other things. You know, keep it. You gotta have like balance. I mean, we're still
Yeah,
all
I mean
trying
that's
to
the same
find
thing for
balance.
me. Matt had the same thing growing up playing multiple sports. I mean, I think that was one of the fun things that is seemingly getting more and more extinct. I enjoyed having different friend groups in different sports circles. Like you jump from one team to the next, and you have your clique that you play baseball with, and then you have your clique that you play basketball with. You have your clique that you play football with, and like to some degree, there's overlap there, but then there's also some different characters that only played one sport or whatever. So
Hmm.
I always enjoyed that interchange. So, um, in terms of like it becoming a profession, so for those that don't know, we kind of alluded to it. I kind of alluded to it. Um, at some point in probably your late teens, early 20s, you kind of pushed the chips all the way to the center of the table and said, "I'm going to absolutely go for this thing."
Yeah,
What
I think
was
that
what
was
was that like?
more. That was more like my eighth and ninth grade. Once I dropped those other sports and I like spent more time on playing golf, like it just kind of went exponential with success. So we started traveling around and just, loved it playing this and that. And then when I was a freshman in high school, I finished second in the state finals. Um, and so I was like, this is, we just kind of kept getting better and better and better. And, I started getting some lessons and started winning more and just kind of kept going with that. So like as a profession, you kind of it just kind of grew as like you always loved playing a sport, but I love playing baseball, still love baseball, love playing basketball. That was always, something that was fun to do. But like you said, like you start winning a lot, it kind of makes it obvious for you, and then you just kind of like, yeah, we'll see how this goes, see how good I can get at something. But I mean, it's
Did
like
you
it's like
eventually
that for
win?
everything.
Yeah. Did you eventually win state in high school?
Yeah, I won two individuals and one team. So I won my junior and senior year, and then we won as a team as my junior year.
And then you went on and played at MSU, right?
Yep, went to Michigan State. We won two Big Ten titles there. My senior year was like I think I was all Big Ten 3 of the 4 years. Senior year was like unanimous Player of the Year or whatever in the Big Ten and All American, and so that kind of catapulted you to the professional ranks. You get some opportunities in like PGA Tour events or web.com or Korn Ferry, I guess it is now. Some sponsors, some sponsor exemptions, stuff like that. It just comes your way from, some nice accolades. So it's more of, it was cool to see a lot of hard work starting to pay off and everything like that. But then, yeah, after Michigan State, I played, like that first summer, I turned professional right away. So you're already halfway done with the season, but then played 12 full seasons after that. I finished in 2019. Which was
Okay.
really good because COVID really messed up that tour I was on. So
See, yeah,
it would have been
I can only
wild. It
imagine.
would have been a wild ride.
Jeez, yeah. There's already nobody at web.com/Corn Ferry events, and then you combine that with the fact that literally fans aren't even allowed in the 2020 year or whatever. And I mean,
Yeah.
I remember
Well,
watching PGA Tour events, and there's nobody there for that I think it was Morikawa's PGA or whatever that he won in 2020. Just
who was
wild.
that?
I think was it Morikawa
Mor-
that won the
Morikawa,
2020?
yeah. Morikawa won 2020 PGA. And then Dustin
And there was
Johnson won
nobody
that
there for that.
Masters in the
I distinctly
fall.
remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, wild stuff.
The
So, but
that
no, it's
mass
more
was that the
about
one?
like they tried to get those
No, go ahead.
PGA Tour events and start pushing them out, right? But then the lower tours, they didn't they weren't going to really because all PGA Tour purses are based on corporate sponsorships, right? So you get your corporate sponsors to do that. And, if they're in some financial issue because of COVID happening or whatever, like they weren't going to push some company and be like, you got to get this tournament going for these Korn Ferry guys, right? So it was kind of I think there was a little bit longer gap before they got up and running, but compared to PGA Tour.
So you finish up your senior year at Michigan State. I mean, at that point, you're probably like conservatively, like realistically, the 1% of the 1% of the golfers in the world. Like, you're literally knocking right on the door of where anybody else that played Big Ten golf / collegiate golf in America would have wanted to be. Like, you're probably knocking there with along with 8 to 10 other guys that also were player of the year for their conferences. Maybe not even that many.
Yeah, but I mean, there's more. I mean, the great part about golf is you shoot the scores, you get to where you're going, right? So it's like you can say, oh, this guy, but there's always going to be more Southern golfers that get those accolades as like All-American and into the summer events. Just, there's a little bit of a bias there. They can play longer. But then it's also like, hey, you know what I mean? Like you get in the professional ranks, there's no draft, right? So it's not like I was over there like campaigning for a better draft selection. No, it didn't really matter too much. So it's like everybody starts at square one when they declare themselves professional, and they start accepting money, and it's like, hey, you shoot the scores, you get on the bigger tours.
So idiot's question here. What is the declaration of professionalism for golf? What like I'm envisioning like the Michael Scott Office episode where he walks in and I forget what he yells when he walks in the office, but he declares bankruptcy is what it is. So he walks in the office and he just yells bankruptcy. Like, is it basically like that?
Pretty much. It's you just start cashing checks for golf. You're no longer an amateur.
So like
you play.
Were they sending you checks previously that you just didn't cash?
No.
Is that all it comes down to?
No. So like before, like if you're playing like let's say like the Michigan Open, I played in that as an amateur, and once you sign up to like pay your entry fee or get in the tournament or whatever, you have to select if you're playing as a professional or playing as an amateur. And so like you just click a box.
So if you're playing as an amateur, can you not accept money then at that point?
You can only accept like up to like $600 in gift cards or like gift certificates or pro shop money.
Gotcha. So what would everybody always hear the NIL in college now? Everybody just likens it to either basketball or football because those are the two top sports in the NCAA. Would that have been big for you, and is that big in collegiate golf, or is that something that you know? Because that's a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, probably for your monetary sports, your profit sports, but being not for profit golf, it's like you're not making money off golfers, so it's like they're just fundraising. I'm sure there's some NIL. I'm sure guys are getting money, but I don't. As far as what and who and how they divvy that up, I have no idea, no clue. But yeah, I mean, I would trust me. I would have taken
I would
cash
imagine
in college if I was allowed
to.
Definitely, I don't know who wouldn't.
You're right.
I would imagine you probably still can't cash the check for, like, there probably still isn't money for winning a college tournament would be my hunch, right? Like, you're still just playing for your school and for the Big Ten or whatever, so to speak.
Yeah, no, there's no
in that
cash
regard,
prizes.
like, yeah, there's probably still not anything. And then, like you said, like college golf doesn't get enough pub to be worth it for anybody to donate specifically to NIL outside of maybe like the elite of the elite. Like if Tiger, I don't know that there's an up and coming like next person that's supposed to be like the next Tiger or whatever. But when he was at Stanford, like he was getting an insane amount of pub way back then. I don't think anybody's getting that much pub for college golf currently.
Probably not.
So
yeah, and it'd just be like endorsement deals anyways, just like, because golf's different. You're not a part of a team, you're not a part of an organization, you're a sole proprietor. So you have the freedom to play whenever you want. You have the freedom to have whatever sponsors you want within certain. There are a couple like PGA Tour rules, like you're not going to have a big old Tito's bottle on your front collar there, you know. So it's like they got to watch the sponsorships a little bit. There's no Marlboro, some cigs sticking out on the other side of your chest or something like that. Nothing
Is
like
there
that.
really? There's restrictions on like what you can and
There's
like
some
obviously
some
profanity, but
Oh, there's got to be, because you would figure that somebody would be wearing what are those, pack of Zins? They'd be representing Zins
right.
for the pouch, or Copenhagen's, or Marlboro Reds, because Corona would be sponsoring them, and they sponsor everything, so that does make sense. You don't see any of that. It's normally the Nikes, Titleists, Bridgestone, all of the core golf sponsorships. Is that where probably the top folks out, if they're not winning consistently at the top, you think they're making the majority of their money off sponsorships versus pieces of the purse?
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know what Scheffler's going to make this year, but I would say there's a good chance the majority of them are making just as much in endorsements and off-course money than they are on-course money.
Yeah, I was just looking at that today because they have the earnings up on ESPN, and he won 3.1 today for winning. And then the person that came in 70th got 38,900. The last person that missed the cut. And it was interesting too, because I was getting ready for Happy Gilmore 2, watching Happy Gilmore, and back in 1996, I didn't realize that movie was that old, but when he goes up and he's like, I want one of those big checks, like the checks were sponsored by Michelob and Budweiser, and his check for coming in last was like $8,500. So it's just different how to see if that actually correlated, if that's what they actually won versus 30 years later, that now the last place person's making 40 grand instead of 8.
Yeah, in the major they were. There's that opposite field event, so they have that one down in Kentucky. I don't know what those guys are making, but I'd say last place of that one's still around 5-6 grand after making the cut.
Covers
you gotta make the cut to make money.
Yeah, it covers your hotel and your weekend expenses or whatever, your flight. Basically kind of keeps you going a little bit.
Depending on your entourage, if you got family traveling with you, I think that PGA Tour is a good, I don't know, 3 to 5 grand a week, depending on what you got going on, what caddy deals you have.
I saw a stat too that Scheffler's caddy Ted Scott would be like, he's in the top 10 for earnings as a caddy or something along those lines, based on the fact he gets like 10 to 15%, like whatever it is. I think that's roughly the number, because obviously nobody knows exactly what Scotty's paying him, but assuming it's like 10 to 15, he's in the top 10 for earnings for golfers for the year, and he hasn't swung a club.
Yeah, I think the standard deal out there is you make your base pay. So like a caddy's going to get, let's say, player pays him $2 grand a week just to carry the bag. You're going to get a 10.75, so 10% of a win, 7% of a top 10, 5% of just making the cut. So that's pretty much your standard deal. Yeah, and I've seen those too with like Ted Scott. Could be that. I'm sure someone just went straight 10% across the board to try to figure that out, but who knows? I remember when Vijay Singh was doing all his, winning every other week. He was tired of paying those percentages, so it was like I think he just told his caddy, he's like, hey, you're going to get 10 grand a week, and that's it. I'll play like 20 weeks a year, but I'm not paying any more than that. So
that's crazy.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, I guess exactly what you're signing up for at that point. Like winner, to a certain degree, like if you're catching him on the downslide or whatever, like that would be to your benefit, actually.
I mean, didn't he have a year we won 10 times or something like that? Right after Tiger
he
was
did
going
have a
on
couple
his
crazy
tear.
years at those last like 5 or 6 where he was kind of going head to head with early 2000s Tiger.
Early 2000s. Yeah.
Did you have the same caddy for you the whole time when you were playing?
No, I picked from a barrel though. Usually all the guys that went to AA together. just didn't want to deal with it. On that Korn Ferry Tour, they're not making any money, so those caddies, they live a rough life. I just wanted to make sure I had a guy that wasn't gonna no-show me, and also wasn't gonna be out boozing.
Yeah,
So
stay sober out there.
Yeah.
how did you know them like very well at all before like picking them, or like what what was that like? Like you're just randomly
I
like trying to
talked
get in
to
touch with people?
Well, I had a bunch of friends. I talked to some of my friends and people that had been older that I'd met through, just through golf, that had been on PGA Tour for a while, and just kind of, used them as mentors, kind of, and it's just like, hey, a good caddy, a good group or anything like that, or like, and those caddies, they'll bounce around tours, like senior tours off, so they'll come to the Korn Ferry because they gotta, they gotta get paid, so they gotta work. And so after a while, you just kind of get around, and I used, a good group of about 5 or 6 of them, and just kind of rotated and be like, hey, you want to go with me for this next 4 weeks, 6 weeks? If we get on a good run, we'll just keep going. So yeah, they were good. But there's never any like hard feelings or anything like that. If I dumped him for one of his buddies, like they get it, got to move on, got to switch it up, especially on that. On that Korn Ferry Tour, it's so like they don't build that tour for longevity. They want you on PGA Tour, or they want you out. They want the next crop to come in. So, I mean, for me, like I played better part of 8 years out there, and it's like you start looking around, and you're like, there's about 5 guys that I know that did the same kind of time frame as what I did. Everybody else is either up, down, down, up, kind of like jumping around tours and stuff like that. So, um, they, go along with the caddy stuff too. It's like those caddies want to get out on the PGA Tour. So if you're not, that's where their money is too. So it's like if you're not participating and they have an opportunity to go get a bag on the PGA Tour, you just tell them, yeah, go ahead, no hard feelings. Call me if it doesn't work out, kind of thing. So just kind of meander that landscape, but. Again, still, it's just like what we're doing now. It's like you just build relationships. You know, don't piss
How
people off, and people are good to you.
yeah, how important is a caddy out there? I mean, it probably all depends too, like how well versed you are with the course, um, and all the notes and all because you always see them whip out the book and flip and kind of say, which way is the green breaking, where's the hole going to be placed.
Yeah.
What's the true value of having them out there besides just huffing your clubs around?
They're way more valuable on the PGA Tour than any tour. And then it's also it's player dependent. Some guys don't want to keep their own score. Some guys don't want to know what yardage it is. Some guys just need someone to be like, here's your 8-iron, hit it at that hole over there. But then there's other guys that like they need to know everything, so they want to be in that book and reading and doing. It's like I think I don't know. I haven't sat down and like actually watched TV coverage of golf tournaments for a while, but it's like I'm sure you'll see it both ways. It's like some guys are just like 100% trust in their caddy, and some guys are 0% trust. Like they're just going to get their own yardage, pick their own club, do it themselves. So caddy's just carrying the bag. But you get pulled on the PGA Tour. Your time is just you don't have it. You get pulled in so many different directions throughout a week. Sponsorship obligations and this and that. So, and then if you want any family time, like you might not be showing up till Tuesday, maybe play 9 holes, and that's all the practice round you get. And then you got to play Wednesday Pro-Am. So you're more entertaining the sponsorship team that you're with instead of, really learning the course where that caddy's out there, like really diving into everything. So, yeah, it's
So do the
everything you
cat?
can imagine.
I've always wondered how the caddies obviously have to play golf so they can understand it. How I don't know. I always wondered how good the caddies are at golf, or if they're just really good at reading the greens and taking the notes and kind of telling you where you need to place the ball. Otherwise,
Well,
obviously they'd be out there playing themselves. So
yeah, so a lot of them are ex-players. Couldn't quite make it, still have a buddy. They hop on, have a good, run with it. They just keep going. A lot of them, I say some of them, not a ton of them, are caddies at like fancy courses down in Florida during the winter time, and then they just come up for a summer tour to do like Korn Ferry and stuff like that. But there's everything. I mean, I think the best caddy I had, I don't know if he could break 100, but he knew golf. He knew anybody knew how to like tell me, like, say the right things for me to get in the right frame of mind for certain shots or certain situations. So I think that's where he was super valuable about everything. But no, I definitely did not let my caddies read putts. No way. I had to do that all on my own. So
Did you even want their input on like a putt period, or like did you tell them, like, especially guys that you weren't as familiar with, like just like what's that conversation like ahead of the round?
I mean, it took a lot for me to trust someone because I had a different style. I like to play trajectories to control my distance, where some people are just like, just grab a club and hit it, and that's how far it goes. But so I would hit different. I was more of kind of not more of a shot maker, but I would do different things with the ball. So it's like a caddy really had to be around me on a few different courses for a couple different weeks before they really learned, what I liked and what I preferred, this and that kind of stuff. But no, yeah, it's like I bet, a 72 hole tournament for 18-hole days. I mean, if I called a caddy in to read a putt more than 5 times in one tournament, I doubt that ever happened for 12
That's
years.
crazy.
So, yeah, I read my own putts. They didn't read my putts. I'd ask them like, "Hey, is this uphill or downhill?" Because I can't quite tell, but the chances are it's really flat at that point.
Is that like, do they wait for like, do they even bring that up ahead of time, or like are they just waiting for like to be invited into your thought process, and like unless you like signal them over on like the fourth green, they're just gonna hang back? Is that basically how it works? Is
Yeah,
it like an unspoken type of thing?
yeah, they got enough going on. Especially because there's like, I don't know if you guys saw that, like Tommy Fleetwood, on day one of the British Open, he hit his shot and nobody raked the bunker. All right, so he hit a shot into a bunker on first day of the British Open. Nobody raked it. So it's in like a footprint or something. It was just awful. And those are already
Well,
terrible
yeah.
bunkers to be in there. But like the caddies, they're working around each other. They're working together to like, let's say like, hey, I hit it in the bunker and I whack it out, and it's my putt because both of you guys have already hit it inside of where my bunker shot ended up. Mark's caddy's going to go over there and rake my bunker. It's not my caddy. My caddy's going to follow me to the ball, clean the ball, make sure I get my putter, and then if he needs anything, like if I need him help with the read or something, he's there, and then Mark's caddy's over there doing the bunker. So I get that. I bet that's what happened. Is like someone missed their caddy rotation to go help out their other caddy buddy. Tommy Fleetwood was the recipient of a terrible break.
So his ball was in a footprint, like
I don't know. I never
even.
saw it. I read an article about it, and they just said it was in like a unraked bunker. So it's either in a footprint or wherever the guy hit out previous. But yeah, absolutely screwed.
Yeah, in either instance, not ideal.
No.
Like you said, playing out of those bunkers, especially, like those are nasty enough to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those rules
Add
of
in another
golf that's
foot.
like, just let the guy fix the rake mark and then place the ball. He's already in a hazard. It's already, the bunker's hard enough. Then I got screwed over
What's
by some other guy.
along those lines? I've heard this discussion from a lot of people in the golf world. What's your stance of somebody that hits it right dead square in the middle of the fairway and lands in somebody's divot? You think they should be able
I
to
mean,
scooch it back, not back it up?
I get it because that's where you want to hit the ball, right? But I mean, how many times have you guys ever hit it in a divot?
Happens all the time.
Does it really?
I mean, not
You're in
not
someone's
not
divot
like
all the time?
I mean, not like that, but like it does happen. Like, or
It,
you're,
yeah, it happens. Maybe 2 or 3 times a summer.
yeah, I mean, all
I'm
the
in a
time
bad.
from like,
I
yeah, I
hear
have
here's.
had it happen before.
I'm in a bad rake job way more than I'm ever in a divot in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah, that's probably true. The other thing too, like I'm
Yeah.
not in as many fairways as you're in either. So like for
Yeah.
let's keep that in perspective. Like you're in a lot more fairways than I'm ever gonna be. So
Nah.
where I'm hitting golf balls, there's like I'm in uncharted territory more often than that. Like I'm
Yeah.
playing the hole in the wrong direction. I'm out in the woods.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
usually in the woods or in the water. I'm trying to hit my ball out and avoid the trees the 4 times a year I play.
Yeah.
I'm dodging ivy, trying to make sure I'm still within the bounds of the game. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
using the old foot wedge every once in a while here and there when nobody's
Heck yeah.
looking.
Man,
well,
golf's
that's the
hard
other thing
enough. You
too.
don't need to get those bad breaks. But
I
no, it's
like
like,
my golf league. I'm not like our rules aren't stringent enough in my specific golf league. Like if that happened, like nobody would care if I just like backed it up 3 inches. Like just play it no
exactly.
closer to the pin or whatever and call it good.
Right. Exactly. No, if you start
So
putting that in tournament golf, you open another can of worms. Does it have to be
well,
where a shot's played from, or what if it's a practice swing? Like, what if it's just brush grass? It's goofy. It could have been someone's scuff footprint. Who knows? I mean, there's so many things. That's why I was happy to hear, like, at the end of my career they changed it to where you can tap down spike marks. Like that was the most ridiculous thing of all. Like the guy just twisted his feet next to the hole. It's the same as hitting a shot next to the hole. I can fix the
yeah,
shot mark. I can't fix the spike mark. So it's
yeah,
like
that's crazy.
it's goofy stuff. But at least they do it on the greens now.
Because
So
like if to your point, like if you open up that can of worms for like sitting in the fairway and you're sitting in somebody's divot, you get somebody like a Bryson who's just anal beyond belief about his entire golf aura. Like he wants everything to be as lasered in and as scientific as he possibly can make it. Like he would want to be moving his ball literally every single fairway to some degree.
probably the scientist.
So so pivoting back to your career specifically, obviously like we talked about, you finished up your senior year of college. What's it like pivoting to playing in, at that point it was the web.com tour, now the Korn Ferry Tour? What was that like? How did you get rolling with that? What's that like getting started?
Yeah, so I mean, I actually it took me like 4 years to get out there. Um, just like most everything, it's half of it's, acclimating yourself to a higher level, but then, part of it's just, and then trying to figure your life out at the same time. But it used to be called the Hooters Tour. So the owner of the Hooters restaurants sponsored a tour down in the Southeast. And it was great because, you were putting in like $800 a week for entry fee, 160 guys, but you're playing for $200,000 purses. So, in that sense, you made, it's like 150% of your money you're putting in, you can get out in the purses. And that's just like, unheard of for mini tours and whatnot. But you actually, I mean, some of my more profitable years were down there just because you could do a whole year at $30,000 for total expenses. And, if you have a great year, you can, you can get close to 100 grand out there. So, you're profiting 70 right out of school. I mean, that's pretty good for a starter's job. Um, but no, yeah. So it's like I played those tours. I lived with a couple guys down in Florida that were doing the same thing throughout the winter time. And, you're down there 8 months, just doing a lot of organized gambling, um, trying to, make ends meet however you can. I got a valet parking job and like range picking job at one of the fancy resorts down there in my first winter down, just so I could, play golf for free and use their driving range. So, pick up a couple shifts a week, try to play on the other time, and then, just kind of wait it out until some bigger money tournaments came along. But, I worked my way through there. I won the money list on that tour one time and had, a lot of success there after a couple of years. And it was fun. And then you go through this, it's called Q school, qualifying school for PGA Tour. For a while, it changed from where you could go all the way to PGA Tour, and now it just goes straight into Korn Ferry to like kind of get guys to run through there. But I mean, I think I did that like 4 or 5 times before I even like got far enough, and then finally got out on the Korn Ferry Tour after 4 times, I believe it was.
So Korn Ferry Tour, you're guaranteed X number of events once you get into the Korn Ferry Tour, correct? You're guaranteed X number of starts per year. Is that how it was for you?
There's all kinds of categories that you fit into. So, like, let's say if there's 156 players in the field, your first category is past winners. So there's going to be, 15 to 20 of those guys. Then your next category is full status, like top 60 from your money list the year prior. And then the next category is going to be, I don't bore you with it, but there's like 20 some categories that you fall into. And so once you get to Q school, if let's say you finish in the top 50, you're probably going to get the first 9 or 10 events guaranteed. And if you're outside the top 50, you're just kind of like on a pecking order waiting list kind of thing. So you're out there, you get a start, you make some money. They reshuffle you based on money after every like 5 events kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's how they come up with their fields. So technically, if it's 156 player fields, they probably have 200, 225 members on that tour. But, the bottom 20, they don't get one tournament all year.
Yeah, just because you're not going to get to, like, you're not going to get to where you need, like, the tour there or that event needs to call that person to fill out their field, right? Based on all the other qualifications.
Yep. But there's Monday qualifiers every week, so you can like try to go to the course. Well, it's not at the course, it's at the same city though, and try to you'll have like 100 guys for 2 spots. And you just got to like try to shoot 65 somehow and hope everyone doesn't. And then maybe you get to do a start. That's actually how I got catapulted, because that first year I made it to the Q School finals. I played poorly and had a category that was really bad. So I missed like the first 5 events of the year. And then in like event 6, I got a sponsor's exemption into it and finished second. Okay, so now I just have to wait 4 more events. And all of a sudden, I'm going to jump everybody on the money list. And then and then you're out there the whole rest of the year. And then it's way easier to plan your schedule and everything like that. But yeah.
Yeah, because if you don't have that, like you're hoping for something like that. Otherwise, like after, like you said, 8 or 9 weeks, like your season could affect, if you don't score, your season could effectively be almost over at that point.
Oh yeah, that happens every year. A lot of guys, they don't really understand how it works. So their rookie year, they get out there and they're like, oh, I'm full status web.com or whatever, Korn Ferry Tour. And then they get out there and they maybe make 2 cuts, finish at the bottom. They make about $3,000 in the first 2 months. They're lucky to get 5 more events the rest of the year. So yeah, it's good and it's bad. There's not many spots, but if you shoot the scores, you get them.
So you're starting out, like you said, playing Hooters Tour, and then eventually you get sponsors exemption. That kind of gets you moving. Mm-hmm. How did you go about maintaining? Because like you said, like the point of web.com/the Korn Ferry Tour is like essentially to avoid what you did. Like the point is to weed people out so that you're either up or you're gone. So how did you kind of hold on treading water for as long as you did?
It's just the scores I kept shooting, man. Like I had my opportunities. I'll say this, like I had more opportunities than most because of where I would have a good week here and there and get myself in the right spot. But then it's like I didn't fully take advantage of all my opportunities when I was up there, and that's why I never got a full season up on PGA Tour. So it's like, it's the most democratic game there is. it's crazy. There's absolutely no, oh, this coach likes this guy a little bit better, so we're gonna start him over there and this and that. No, it's like you just show up when it's your turn to play. You better play, and if you don't, you're out, kind of thing. So the nice part about it is though, if you are a winner, because it's hard to win. You figure 156 guys, there's one winner in every week, and then you see what the top 10 in the world are doing, and they win what 80% of the time. So it's like you got 20% of the time to try to break through and beat 156 other guys that are just like awesome. So it's hard. So they do, like, if you win on the PGA Tour, you're a lifetime member of the PGA Tour. So you have status out there all times. Now, you don't take advantage of that. You're going to be that guy that, gets like maybe 1 or 2 starts a year, but at least you have an opportunity to play.
So, obviously you're grinding out there for 8 years. How close did you come to getting your tour card?
About 4 feet, a couple bounces here and there.
Dang.
How many different 4-footers?
What's that?
How many different 4-footers? Or like one, is there one, like obviously of one specifically coming to mind first and foremost, but there's obviously a bunch of other shots that you can think of.
The closest I got to was in the playoffs of the Korn Ferry, I think was it 2017? There were 2 different weeks. It's three tournaments, right? And essentially you rank based on money, and it's top 25 after all that is done. So essentially, if you finish one top 5, you're probably going to be in a really good spot. So I had a bad first week. Second week, I put myself in a really nice position and bogeyed the last 3 holes of the tournament to finish like 9th or 10th, somewhere in there. So I was kind of like right teetering on the edge. Now, a full tournament, you're hitting 260 to 280 shots a week. So it's like, it's hard to just base it all around one. Everybody always likes to go to the last one, but the next weekend in Florida I was right teetering on the edge all day. So like just high stress golf. And I hit a shot, I hit a wedge in there like 4 feet on 17, missed the putt, and then hit it in on 18. It was a par 5. I had like an 8-footer and I missed that one too. So those are the ones you can go find on YouTube. Yeah, there's a putter snap, threw it in the pond, had some choice words. Into my hat though, you couldn't read my lips or anything like that, so it's all good. But yeah, no, it's funny because like Scott Van Pelt did a thing in the Sports Center, like his late night Sports Center show. Did a thing about me on that. So it's like, it was a little bit like in the golf world, people are like, I can't believe he's doing that, right? And blah, blah, blah. I was like, dude, I just missed 2 putts. If I probably have to make both of them, it would have come down to dollars and cents if I made one of them and not the other one. So I probably would have had to make both of those, like a 4-footer and 8-footer, to like guarantee it out there. But like, that's, it's like, that's $1 million putt, more than that, right? It's like instant.
Yeah,
as soon as you get your PGA Tour card, you probably got 2 commas in your bank account.
And like all bets are off at that point, because like once you're on there, like if you start winning,
get your opportunity,
like you have no idea.
Right? And that was some of the best golf I was playing too. So it's like, yeah, you get to, I'm chomping at the bit to go get a start and keep going and like see where you can go, because that's all it is. It's like golf's hard. Other people are really good. It's like you get, they always said 80% of your success in 20% of your tournaments. So it's like, so if you really, like when you're on a heater, you go play every week until you fall off. And then you go take a couple weeks off, build it back up. And then you go play, try to take advantage of all the times that you have momentum. You lose momentum, just cut it off, take a break. So.
At what point did it really start to set in that was going to be like the closest you were knocking at the door? Like, did you walk off the green knowing that you're not going to have it, like feeling like you're probably not going to have a shot that again?
Because I played 2 more seasons after that. And like I said, I was I had been building momentum all year long, and then like that was obviously my best play that I had going on. So it was like I was super bummed, obviously pissed, you know, not happy with how it ended or whatever. But then it's like you got that competitiveness inside of you that's like, okay, I was this close, like literally this close. What am I gonna do this winter to like push it over the edge and just kind of keep going? And then the next year after that, for whatever reason, is just kind of like never got those like super really high weeks, good weeks. I've had a better start to the year and just kind of fizzled off throughout the summer. So it was whatever. And then the last year I played, it was terrible, just awful.
At that point, were you like completely in your head about the whole thing? Like you just kind of were more or less right, or like game just kind of left you for a season more or less?
No, no. I mean, there's some head stuff to it, I'm sure. But at that point, it's like wife finds out she's pregnant with our fourth kid. Priorities are different. It's like what Scotty said earlier. It's like winning and everything is not fulfillment. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, maybe God has a different plan for me at this point in my life. We tried to do everything we could up to that point. Who knows if I should have done better or should have done worse. Obviously, I had the talent to do better. But at the same time, it's like I had the work ethic there. So it's like maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't have what it takes to even get as far as I did. Could have maximized that. It's like so many wouldas and shouldas and couldas out there. But I'm pretty happy where I am right now. No complaints. It was fun. Don't get me wrong. It was a lot of fun. 12 years driving around with your buddies, playing a lot of golf, starting up a family, having them travel around with you. Saw everything, North, South America, Central America, played all over. Just never went to Europe. Always wanted to go to Europe.
You never got an opportunity to play over there?
Nope, no tournaments, nothing. Don't feel like taking a trip over there. That seems just like a lot. Maybe in a couple years.
Yeah, when the boys are a little bit older,
Yeah.
spin that forward maybe a decade or so, and maybe at that point one of them's paying for you to go over there.
Right. Yeah. Shoot, maybe the senior tour is still going on.
There you go.
I'm only 10 years away. I just turned 40, so I'm only 10 years away from that.
What's one experience or place that you would want to play that you haven't yet?
Oh, Augusta National.
Easy one of one.
Yeah. I think everybody wants to go there. That place is pretty sweet.
Have you been to a tournament down there?
I went to a practice round.
As a Okay.
Spectator.
I was gonna say.
It was my 15th birthday. Monday practice round. It was a lot of fun. I'll never forget.
Pretty close to the same age I was. I think I was 13 or so maybe when I went.
Yeah. It was we walked the back nine backwards, just to kind of watch out for crowds and whatnot. And then we went and followed a couple groups, and it just happened that we dropped them off at 5, and then Tiger came through a little bit later, and it was cool because on 5, that par 4, uphill dogleg left, he hit his drive. He was probably 160, 165 yards out from the hole, and he hit one. He hated it. So, it's a practice round, doesn't matter. So he has Stevie throw him a ball or whatever, puts it down. Actually, it might have been Fluff at that point. I can't remember, but hits another ball, knocked it right in the hole. So,
that's insane.
Probably better. He liked that one a little bit better.
That's insane. Yeah. We followed Tiger around the year I was there. 06, so that was the year Phil won it. I think that was Phil's
nice.
second or maybe first even. But Phil won it that year, and we followed him around in the practice round for quite a bit. We followed Tiger around for like 2 holes because the crowd around him was just nuts, just like you'd imagine. So it was really hard. I think I was 12. I would have been in 06. I would have been 15. Yeah. So you and I were exactly the same age, but even then, like a little bit tough to see. with all the crowds and everything else, because I'm obviously I'm not Veneman tall. So, and then we followed another group around, Ernie Els and Retief Goosen, and I forget who the third one in their group was. So we followed them around for a while. And my favorite, my dad and I always joke about this, but we followed Miguel Angel Jimenez for 3 or 4 holes while he had a big old fat stogie sitting in his mouth the whole time, and we were laughing because he's just playing his practice round. He literally looks like every other Joe Schmo golfer out there, except for the fact that he's got his awesome little curly man bun flowing behind him. But other than that, like, he looks like literally every other Saturday kind of late 40s golfer that you've ever seen in your entire life. Out of shape, looks like he drinks like a fish. Just
probably a bottle
having
of
the
wine
time
a
of his
night.
life.
Him and Darren Clark.
Yep. But yeah, just walking. I've told so many people, if you ever get an opportunity to go, you have to go, because it's not like any other place that I've ever been in my life. Like, it's the most finely manicured piece of property I've ever been on.
Yeah, for sure.
Just absolutely wild place. And then you turn around and you watch YouTube, and the Dude Perfect guys are throwing slinkies and Nerf balls all over Augusta National a year ago, because they got the opportunity to play fake golf on it somehow, because they're giant YouTubers.
I wonder if Bryson got in trouble with that, having them out there.
He had to have gotten approved. Like, how else would you have done it?
He had to have gotten approval. That place is like, it's stuff.
It's like the secretest society that there is.
It's good stuff. Especially,
wasn't that the same? Wasn't that the same course that amateur guy decided to take a leak on one of the holes in the pond?
This year,
right?
Yeah,
like on the turn or whatever, on the 9th hole or whatever.
Yeah, he took a leak in Rays Creek.
Yes, no, he went in the creek.
Yeah,
and everybody was there taking videos. I think he was the kid from Arizona State.
We talked about that in like episode 2.
I know, that's why I remembered. I was like, he's like, I just gotta go. And there was a bathroom like on the next hole or whatever, which was the hilarious part. And then everybody like took pictures and videos of this guy just going in the pond.
Yeah. You gotta go.
He was the high scoring amateur. Everybody was up in arms for that. And then he wore one of those like new logoed hats. He was from Arizona State, and he had like Sun Devils like upside. It's like the new thing, like upside down and an arc on his hat, and he had it upside down. And all the golf people were up in arms over that too, because it's so anti-golf or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was the high scoring amateur.
Yeah.
Everybody losing their minds over that. So we'll finish here, wrap it up here. At what point, like, you kind of get to the end of the road? How do you compartmentalize pivoting after spending so much of your life up until that point, like trying to become a professional golfer, and then all of a sudden you've got to figure out whatever else everybody else has been doing this entire time? Like, what's that like?
Well, I mean, I didn't have much time to do it. You gotta find a job real quick. But no, it's like I still played golf for a while. Like, pivoting off of that was tough, just because I still had those expectations of what I know I can do versus what I'm actually doing. And so, like, it took a good while to get rid of that expectation. So now I can have fun with golf. I can go out and play with my buddies and not care, and have a good time. And so playing a lot better. But it's like, yeah, I mean, it went wild. I mean, we're on the road 40 weeks a year, and now we go on spring break. That's about it. So now we're home all the time and doing fun stuff. But no, yeah, it's wild. It's almost like two different lives I've lived.
You're kind of living in that fantasy life for golf and like traveling the world, like you said, and like you're just kind of going like spot to spot. Like, some people would literally like consider that being a dream. I don't necessarily think living in a hotel like that would be my ideal way to go about. But I mean, you also get used to your normal too, right? To a certain degree, like that becomes your normal, so you don't probably think about it like that.
Yeah, and it's really nice to be your own boss and make your own schedule.
That's
do the things
fair,
you want to do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Can't argue with that.
Mm-mm.
Yep. I'm trying to think. I'm raffling through my questions here. I think
Yeah, I did.
kind of gotten
Yeah, I think we
to
hit
the
them
end.
all.
Matt, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think we hit them all. So I was actually trying to look up some of these YouTube videos. I wanted to see the putter snap. I couldn't find that one. It was like a still video. I did find one of you winning the SIGA Dakota Dunes though. It's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
nice shot. Some pretty nice shots in there. Your
yeah,
shot on 14 out of the bunker, and you put it within like 2 feet, almost sunk it. So
yeah. That's why I won a tournament out on PGA Tour Canada. I played out there for a summer, so had
yeah, and
a
then
win early
it
in the year.
yeah, at the end of it was you and your wife and the baby passed out in her
Yeah.
arm with the trophy. So that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. He was 9 weeks old.
Scotty Scheffler before Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'll send you guys
So
over some. I'll see if I can find it up on Google, YouTube it, send it over to you guys.
yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
kind of cool.
I need the club snap now.
Yeah, I even searched for the. Yeah, it said snap, and it said the putter throw or whatever. But yeah, I was trying to find that because it'd be kind of cool to post it. That's something I would do. I mean, I'm sure everybody when that happens, they want to do it, and they're like, "Nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't want to go viral." But I probably would have done it.
At that point, you're so charged up with emotion, like you're just, I don't know, like I don't know how you can ever blame anybody for that. Like you're so locked in, you're so focused, and then like you just gotta vent somehow.
Yeah.
Just kind of how it all comes boiling to a head right then and there. I broke my driver a couple weeks ago. It wasn't out of frustration. It was completely accidental. I was bending over to pick up my tee off the tee box, and my club head just completely snapped right off.
Oh,
How
really?
about that?
Yeah, I went golfing the second time this year. Par 3 had the 8-iron out. I hit the best ball of the day, and it was over this pond, and I actually landed on the green, which is rare for me. And all of a sudden, I hear boosh in the water, and I thought it was my ball. It was the club head.
Half your club.
No, the whole head of the club. It was I just had the shaft and the stick. Yeah. And normally I would expect that to be my ball flying in the water, but I was like, all right, well, at least I parked this thing. I'm gonna have to buy a new club, but at least I parked the ball on the green, and it just didn't. Yeah, so
yeah,
great experience.
I've been there before. Used to be leave your clubs in a hot car, and that glue will start melting, and you just go and hit.
That's
on
probably what it was
ground.
because it's been smoking down here, but it was funny because you could hear it just twisting, and it just boosh in the water, gone. So. But
like they say in baseball, that one died a hero.
It did. Yep. But Matt, appreciate you jumping on and taking the time to chat with us. I know you're busy. You had a lot of stuff going on, 4 kids, baseball, and everything. And just very much appreciate you jumping on, sharing your story. And as always, episode 14, still have not spilled the old mixie. And cheers and have a great day. And thanks again, Matt. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.